Hi, I'm Dion Ambrose, and this is Unbuttoned, a look into how news agencies portray women. This is a final project for the International Journalism class with Mike Williams at the University of Kansas. So here's about what we already know. We've all heard about the sexualization of women in media in the United States. As standards for censorship have changed over decades in the U.S. since the 1960s, women on the covers of magazines are now posed in sexier stances, women wear less, and almost complete nudity is allowed, minus the ever-terrifying nipple. The freedom to almost bear it all can be in part attributed to the Supreme Court Justice Potter Stewart's remark about obscenity. I know it when I see it. The remark came from the 1967 Supreme Court case Jacob Ellis v. Ohio. So for public viewing, anything that is not obviously porn is allowed. As for standards in the UK, similar obscenity laws exist, and breaking them can inflict serious consequences. But the media still goes a bit further than in the United States. The Sun, a tabloid in the UK, since the 1970s has photographed topless young women for its Page 3 Girls section. Other tabloids followed suit as well. As long as no nipple is showing on the front page, the paper can still be sold among regular newspapers. Other tabloids or popular newspapers are similar to those in the United States. But how do they compare in the field of broadcast journalism? So in the United States, female newscasters often wear sexier types of clothing than they used to. So is this empowerment or using female sexuality for more viewers? Katie Couric commented that some newswomen dress like they're going clubbing at one point, and a 2011 study found that men had a more difficult time remembering the news when a sexier newscaster read the news script. It's common in the United States to see female news anchors who could double as fitness models, and this kind of stereotype exists in the UK as well, and often it's just pretty people end up on television. But female news anchors are still encouraged to dress sexily in the UK as well. Rona McLeod provided an email quote, and I would consider this the company line. I have had absolutely no experience of the sexualization of women in the field of broadcast journalism. I consider myself first and foremost a sports journalist, and my gender is of no consequence. At BBC Scotland, I am treated in exactly the same way as my male colleagues working in sports news and have exactly the same opportunities. But despite what Rona says, BBC received criticism in January of this year from the Lords Committee to hire more women and to not lay off women for simply being older. The male anchor on the left seems to be wearing more traditional clothing, not showing off muscles or physical attributes like women do to kind of appease male viewers. One statistic says that only 5% of women over 50 are presenters in the UK. So perhaps Rona might feel differently when she hits 50 and might not be on the air anymore. This photo is of Jane Hill, and she made a comment that in addition to her salary, she thinks that female presenters should be given an extra budget for their wardrobe because men can go on the air and just change a tie, so they only need 1, 2, or 3 suits, whereas she felt that she had a lot of criticism from her superiors for how she looked and that she had to have a different dress for every presentation she gave. So is it all a bunch of hype? What's the deal? This year, a Saudi Arabian news company came under criticism for the way their female news anchors were wearing too much makeup and not dressing traditionally enough. Ultimately, culture determines how sexually a human being is depicted. To you or I, because of our American culture, this woman probably looks more conservative. Regardless, if people turn in for extra leg and colorful, form-fitting dresses, news organizations will continue to push this type of attire.